Hello, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I don't know who or where you are watching me, but welcome to another Coach Mo Live. And we are live on a topic that is going to touch your brain. We're going to talk about your brain today, not your neighbor's brain, not your colleague's brain. We're talking about your brain. Actually, we are talking about your colleagues and your neighbor's brain because our brains really do work the same. If you're a client of mine, feel free to say hello and let me know that you're here. If you're new, welcome. I am Coach Mo, the founder and creator of America's soulful, most impactful career transformational program, the Kick-Ass Career Workshop. And what we do is help transform women's souls so that they can have the career and the life of their dreams. Hello to Christine. And we do our work in a combination of bringing your soul to life, but also helping you understand how, as a human body, a human machine, how you're put together and why things go off track. Why do you go down rabbit holes? Why do you spend decades feeling crappy about yourself? Well, there are explanations to it, and there are predictable things that you can actually do to avoid it. It looks like my camera is getting a little fuzzy. Hopefully not on your end. So what we do in our kick-ass transformational workshop is help women bring their souls back to life, that essence, that thriving life energy, bring it back so that you feel you, sometimes for the first time since you were in your 20s, sometimes for the first time ever. And hello, Muleba from Zambia. Great to see you. Glad you're here watching. So here's what we got to do. We got to understand how the brain and physiology come together. And that's why I've labeled this the best part of completing something, because your brain, your neurochemistry, your neurotransmitters. Am I talking science to someone here? You don't have to know a lot about science, but I want you to know enough about science so that you can understand yourself. Because if you don't understand yourself, there's no way that you can master yourself. A few weeks ago, I did a special program called Soul Secrets, and I dove into body, mind, and soul in very deep ways as to how these aspects of us function. And all the women there said that it was such a great deep dive, even clients of mine who've been around for several years. Here's the deep dive for why completing something is important and how not recognizing yourself is going to take you off track. Let's talk about this for a second. You know, your brain is put together in a way, as well as your body, in order to actually prevent you from being killed or dying. Pain receptors everywhere, letting you know that something is not going in the proper direction. Hello, Anne. All around your body, you've got pain receptors. If you touch something too hot or too cold or too prickly, you're going to feel it and your body's going to go, whoa. Here's the interesting thing. If something doesn't actually give you that pain threshold, you will adapt and acclimate it. You will adapt and acclimate to some cold weather, to some hot weather. You will adapt and acclimate to things being internally not too comfortable, but you will deal with it. I spent the first, 5+ decades of my life being an athlete and running a lot. I ran marathons, half marathons, and I would push my body past the point of comfort. I would push my body beyond its comfort zone, but I intellectually knew that I was training myself for being able to tolerate a higher level of lactic acid. That's what training and long distance training is all about. It's all about giving your muscles the practice at dealing with acid in the muscle. And it doesn't feel good. And your body doesn't like it. So if you just stopped when your body said no more, you wouldn't be able to push past a threshold to train for the next level. So glad, Carol, that the emotional guidance scale got you out of a rabbit hole. We're loving that. And if you're a client of mine, you know exactly what we're talking about. That emotional guidance scale is part of Module 1 in our kick ass transformational workshop. Here's the thing, when you acclimate to pain, if you're not training for a marathon or muscle building in a gym, that acclimation to pain, whether it be a toxic boss, emotional harm, talking to yourself negatively, those emotional pains that you get used to are doing so much harm. How do you know the difference? Well, if you're in touch with your soul, if you're in touch with your truth, you absolutely know the difference, because the difference is you being aware of when you're pushing yourself to get better versus pushing yourself in denial. Huge difference. But guess what? Your body's doing the same things. The only thing that can override it is your prefrontal cortex, the part of humans that makes us be able to be the observer of our own experience. As far as we know, we're the only animal, the only being on this planet who can actually observe our own behavior and make corrections because of the prefrontal cortex, part of our brain that's right behind our forehead. It's the most sophisticated part of our brain. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't have to get used. You can be on primitive wavelength and being in fear and reaction all your life if you'd like. As a matter of fact, there are probably several billion people on this planet living in reaction mode because they're so wired into only their physical experience. And if you're wired into only your physical experience, you will be suffering and struggling, and you will be focusing on what's not going well inside of you. And when you do that, your soul is not needed. I mean, it is, but your body pain shrinks the ability of your soul to come alive. Your nervous system has to be fully optimized for your soul to come alive. You can't be in a pain threshold and your soul be dancing for joy. Doesn't exist, because you have to have neurotransmitters, neurochemicals, those neuropeptides that circulate in your body have to be telling your brain that you're safe. I know. Sort of an interesting concept. If your brain is not telling you you are safe, but it is telling you you're under threat, your body will stay in a permanent maladaptive situation where it is in override on the fear response. You know, that fight, flight, and freeze response that is our primitive, normal stress response. If you stay in that response, you will have eventually adrenal fatigue, high blood pressure, premature diabetes. You'll gain weight. You won't sleep well. Like, your whole body will be trying to grab for health, but it will be out of reach. And after a decade, 2 decades, sometimes 3 or 4 decades of being in stress response, you're finally like, all right, I give up. What do I need to do to fix this? And what you need to do to fix it is to normalize and neutralize your nervous system and get out of that mode. But you've trained your body for it, and it is challenging. Here's the thing. When you've spent decades in stress mode, you're pretty cranky. You're not sleeping well. You're probably overeating, gaining weight, possibly drinking too much alcohol, not exercising enough, because your body is in protection mode. It wants to store calories. It doesn't want to go out and exercise because it is in threat mode. Please understand that when you are choosing chronic stress, you are choosing a bad pathway for your physical body. And if you stay there, you will not be able to resuscitate your soul. I mean, you could go to church and you could pray and feel like you're doing the right things, But if your body is in stress mode, you're not going to be living in a joyful existence. You're not going to be feeling appreciation. And here's the thing. If I say to you, identify the things that you're grateful for, but you're in stress mode, the grateful stuff is just going to be a mind game. It's just going to be a handwriting exercise. It's not going to really deeply resonate with who you are and how you are. You're going to want it to. You will. You're going to want your body to feel better, and you're going to want your soul to start coming alive. And it's got like you're urging a scared cat to come towards you. No, 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 no. When I first started this coaching business, I came across a very, very compelling story of an elephant at the Elephant Sanctuary in Tennessee. And I've since gotten to know that organization and spend time there with these beautiful elephants that have been mistreated their entire lives. Well, a wonderful animal writer, Carol Bradley, wrote a story about one of those elephants. Her name is Billy. And when she first came to the Elephant Sanctuary, it was a court order to have her be in safety rather than to be rented out to circuses and mistreated by its owners. So a court order forced Billy to go to this animal sanctuary that is a beautiful, gorgeous place in Tennessee. And when Billy got there in a 18-wheeler trailer, she didn't want to come out of that space because she was scared. She didn't know what to expect because she was used to being treated so poorly by other humans. So when she saw other humans at the other side of that door of the trailer opening, when she gets to a safe sanctuary, which she didn't understand, of course, she's an elephant, the humans there waited hours and hours for her to feel safe enough to come out, coaxing her with food and treats, speaking to her gently. And still, she took hours to come out. When she was finally in the safe zone of where they keep elephants when they first bring them to the sanctuary, she still wore that ankle bracelet chain from years ago when she was chained to not run away. The interesting thing about elephants and that ankle chain is that they perceive that to be their safety. It took years for her to feel safe enough to have them cut it off. Years. She kept that ankle bracelet on her because it was what her perception of safety was, to wear this horrible ankle bracelet that was eroding her skin and causing problems. But she's perceived that as her safety. And after years and years of trusting these humans, being fed well, taken care of, loved on, she finally allowed them to cut it off. And the book is so compelling. And we understand in Billy's story and in so many of the clients who I have coached that sometimes the feeling state of being in a stress response is so normal, and we identify it so much for who we are and how the world is, and the fact that we haven't felt safe in years or decades. It's hard to coax the soul self out. It's hard to feel safe. But if you manage your nervous system properly, you're going to be able to create a condition in your body where you can coax your soul forward. And this is the very first thing that we do in our Kick-Ass workshop. We give you the tools and techniques so that you can get your nervous system under control, heal trauma patterns, work through the things that have been holding you back, the fears, the stress response. Our clients sleep better than ever. They have better relationships with the people who they love and who love them. And frankly, if they're in a relationship with someone that isn't right for them and isn't to their highest good, they soon understand how that doesn't match up with their highest self. If you're a client of mine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a client of mine, I want to talk to you a little bit, because if you're a professional woman who is not where you want to be in your career and something's holding you back, but you just can't pin it down, it's probably your nervous system going in the wrong direction and your soul shrinking to such a level that you don't feel good about yourself. And we can help understand how that's going, what's going on there, and whether we can help you, and explain to you how we can help you. And you do that simply by booking a complimentary clarity call. And that is real easy to do. It is mofall.com/live clarity. It is the amazing opportunity to work with one of my enrollment coaches, to talk to her about what's going on so that we can really understand and help you get clarity. Chances are it's something below the surface. And then help understand whether we can help you or not. And if we can't help you, no problem. You get the clarity and you're going to know what the next steps are for you. But if we can help you, we're going to advocate like heck for you to make a positive decision to move your life and your career forward. And in many, many, many instances of the thousands of women we've worked with, it is going to be a massive upgrade in how your soul feels, massive upgrade in your life and your career. You know, when you upgrade how you feel about yourself, you're putting yourself in the condition of being able to achieve at a level that you haven't achieved before. Because that nervous system, when it is on overload, it says things like, I don't want a bigger job. I can't handle it. If I get a promotion, I'm not going to be able to do what I need to do for my family. It says things like, it's not worth the money. So many women I've personally spoken to on clarity calls, and I know my team have told us that they're sort of relieved that they didn't get the promotion because they were afraid of the stress that that would cause. Or if they do get the promotion, they're afraid that they're not going to be able to hack it. It's going to be too much for them. And they're secretly hoping to get downgraded and downshifted. We had a woman come into our workshop recently under so much stress and so much distress for years, working at a company who treated her like crap. Companies out there, I'm telling you, stop doing this to people. And she was being told that she was going to be downgraded and lose 15% of her salary. And she came to us scared that if that happened, that she wouldn't be able to pay her bills and she would feel so demoralized that she wouldn't know what to do. I'm going to tell you what, she made a powerful decision to move forward and get the coaching that she needed. Not only did she upgrade herself internally, and we saw it on the coaching calls, she starts showing up bigger, brighter, happier. She's able to have conversations with people at work that she's never been able to have before because she's been in protection mode. You see, the nervous system will do that. It will put you in protection mode and you won't be able to have the conversations that you know you need to have. Well, she began having those conversations, showing up differently, being more effective in meetings. And don't you know, before several weeks in the workshop, she got upgraded, a raise rather than a demotion and a 15% cut. She got a raise. So she was thinking her life and her career were going backwards. And you know what she told me? Do you know how old I am? I said, no, I don't know how old you are. She said, well, if you knew how old I was, you probably wouldn't be encouraged about my career. And I said, at any age, if you want more in your career, you can do it. And we know exactly how. She believed in herself enough, but she believed in us and what our program is all about and how we've helped thousands of women achieve something more than what they can do on their own. Your nervous system is a liar. Your nervous system is going to tell you that you can't. Your nervous system is going to tell you that you can't handle more. And I'm telling you this, once we help you get that nervous system under control, we teach you the techniques at the very beginning of the work we do. And we're going to show you exactly how to bring your soul back to life as well. Because having an optimized nervous system is one thing, but if your soul's not coming to life to fuel who you are and to populate the best parts of who you are inside of you, it's only half the story. So we can help diminish your nervous system negativity. But if we don't bring your soul back to life, that resume is not going to look awesome. And that woman showing up for interviews is not going to be awesome. Or that woman asking for a promotion and advocating for herself. She needs to feel awesome inside before she does any of that. If you have those conversations and you're feeling under duress, if you're feeling less than, If you already go into those conversations feeling like a loser, you're not going to have effectiveness. Please don't do that to yourself. Get yourself in a state where your nervous system is under control and you're feeling awesome. And if you can't do that on your own, it's not your fault. It really is not your fault. It's a rare person who can pull themselves out of decades of nervous system stress and into something productive, happy, and empowered. We work with women who have even been hospitalized for nervous breakdowns, who are so traumatized by either job loss or a toxic environment or toxic bosses, and sometimes they stay there. Why do we women do that to ourselves? Because we convince ourselves that there is nothing better, and that is absolutely not true. You see, your nervous system is a liar. Your nervous system will convince you that you can't. Your nervous system will convince you you won't. And people around you will just say things like, just go get another job. Like it's that easy. Just go talk to your boss. Or if you have a loving husband, like so many of our clients do, honey, it's okay if you quit and get a lower level job. We can handle it. I love if your husband has that position for you. A, he doesn't know how to fix your career. B, he just wants you not to keep bitching about it. And C, he thinks that's the answer. It's not the answer. You can handle a higher level job, but not while you have a sprained stress response, not while you're limping around life, not while you are under duress. Your nervous system, yes, Julia, is telling you things. Your nervous system is asking you to pay attention and do something about it. It is a pain receptor, and our pain receptors in our body are to get our attention. Hello, it's too hot. Hello, it's too cold. Hello, you're hungry. Hello. Everything in our nervous system is to get our attention to survive. And once we have that nervous system understood and know how to bring it into its optimal state, we'll be able to manage ourselves and our life at a higher level. And rock on, Sister Julia. Nice to see you here. Always good. You must pay attention to the stress response, but you also must do something about it to get out of it, because the longer it persists, the more damage it's going to do to your normal physical makeup. Conversely, when you're in a positive, optimized nervous system response, it's nourishing and enriching. Blood flows better. Your cells are actually communicating better. When you're well hydrated, feeling gratitude, well rested, and you've got enough activity and exercise in your body to keep things moving in an optimized way, things go really well. Even as you age, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience on that. One of the things that we must understand about how our body is put together, that it is not meant to drive our lives. It is meant to protect us from harm. Our soul is the driver. And if your body and your nervous system is driving the train, you're going to be like, reacting to everything, not knowing where you're going, wanting to turn off, wanting to detour. You've got to put your nervous system in a state where it is not controlling and mastering your life. Your soul is the driver. Your soul is the best part of you. Your soul is your higher intelligence. Your soul is your divine truth. Your soul is your alignment, your congruency with your power. We're all meant to be powerful people on this planet. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't want us to be powerful, so they help push us down and degrade us, and oftentimes we agree with them because we don't really understand how to do something different. mofall.com/live clarity will get you talking to a real life enrollment coach to talk about what's going on and whether we can help you. Now, here's the thing. Your body is built so that you can actually feel better. But you have to recognize the better in you. You have to recognize the positivities. We start all of our coaching calls off with celebrations because when we increase the nervous system's positive response system, now we are optimizing the nervous system. But your nervous system can't fake it. So if you're not truly feeling positive, but you have a shot of dopamine or serotonin, which is what happens when you have a positive accomplishment, you can feel like you're feeling better, but it's momentarily. Many people got more pets or a pet during the pandemic. And physiologically, it makes a lot of sense. You're feeling under stress, under duress. The world is turned upside down. When you pet your pet, they're there now, kitty. They're there now, doggy. You actually have a positive neurotransmitter response of oxytocin, and that oxytocin feels good. It feels like a warm hug. So it is helping you to feel better. It ameliorates the stress by giving you a positive dose of a neurotransmitter that feels good. Unfortunately, it's temporary. I mean, you could pet your dog all day long and feel the good oxytocin, but if you hate your boss and hate your job at the same time, it you're going to be like going back and forth and not knowing who the heck you are. Petting your pets, having those lovely animals in your life helps feel good a little bit. But optimizing your nervous system and having serotonin and dopamine more often in your nervous system, different neurotransmitters, they make you feel a little bit different, but they're all positive neurotransmitters. Dopamine and serotonin will actually give you longer boosts of positivity, which will actually allow you to have that positivity going towards something and being able to move past some of the temporary obstacles. Unfortunately, oxytocin doesn't quite have that level of action associated with it. Dopamine and serotonin do. As a matter of fact, those are some of the neurochemicals that come out when we exercise past our pain threshold. Like I was talking about earlier, training for marathons and much less running a marathon, I was feeling a lot of pain. But when we persist and when we celebrate, and it's another mile marker, and someone says, go Mo, you get a hit of dopamine and then serotonin, and then we feel awesome. You know, dopamine is sometimes one of the drugs that we use for patients in the intensive care unit in order to level out their blood pressure. And it's a very, very interesting drug that we can give, but it's a neurotransmitter that you can actually give yourself. You can create a positive environment inside your body and give yourself the drugs that your body manufactures on its own. You can be your own pharmacy. How cool is that? To give yourself your own doses of positivity, of lowering your blood pressure, of decreasing your heart rate and making your digestive system work better. This is what you can do by the simple tools and techniques of navigating your nervous system. And if you don't, you're your own pharmacy giving yourself adrenaline and cortisol that are doing just the opposite, increasing blood pressure, increasing heart rate, slowing down your digestive system, and really wreaking havoc, because when you're under stress, your body doesn't want to eat and digest food. It wants to preserve all of that energy to run and to fight and to freak out. I should call it fight, flight, freeze, or freak out. So many people nowadays freak out when they're in a chronic stress pattern, and that is really difficult on your body. It doesn't want to let you sleep. It doesn't want to let you digest food. So if you're under that chronic stress, that's what's going on. Look, I'm a registered nurse for 38 years. Do the math. That's how old I am. And I'm going to tell you this. Your physiology is amazing. But if you're allowing your physiology to run your life, you're going to have difficulties. If you can become the master of your body, the master of your physiology, the master of your nervous system, if you can then allow that scenario, that positive ecosystem of your body to allow the soul to come back to life, you can change everything. But you can't change it just by doing affirmations and reading books. It doesn't work. I want you to read my book, What If the World Was All for You? It's going to make you feel good. It's going to be like a warm hug, like an oxytocin type of hit, but it's not going to change your life. I didn't write the book to change your life, but I did create a 12-week transformational workshop to change your life. That's how we change, through progressive, consistent, repetitive actions, moving you in the highest level of you. That's how you change. It's been documented by millions of psychological studies. What we do to change is to be supported, guided by an expert, follow a process, and have a repetitive system where we're literally changing. I'm going to tell you something. The woman I mentioned earlier who was going to get a demotion and a 15% pay cut until she met us and decided to work with us, and then she gets an increase in pay. That woman went from looking old and haggard and beaten down, to alive, happy, robust, excited. No wonder they decided to reverse their decision, because now she's a light at work versus, okay, when you are beaten down, you're not getting promotions. When you feel crappy about life and about yourself, you're not getting promotions. Recruiters aren't calling you back. You're not getting called back for interviews. When you feel crappy about yourself, life isn't going in the direction of your dreams. The direction of your dreams are following an enlightened soul, a resurrected self. Let's get that for you. mofall.com/live clarity is how you book the time with one of my team members. And we're going to get into what's going on. So many of you listening now are my clients, and I cherish the day that you said yes to yourself to A, book that call. Again, it's mofall.com/live clarity. And B, when you said yes to yourself and dove in and you allowed experts to shepherd you through a very difficult time of your life. I am so grateful to your soul being a brighter light on this planet. It helps us all. If you're suffering and struggling right now with who you are on this planet, what your direction is from a career perspective, and so many of my clients have said, you're not just a career coach, you're a life coach. Yeah, I'm going to help you get your life back for sure. And you're going to have everything you need to get a new job. And most of our clients get that in the 12 weeks. What I want to help you understand is this is in your control to change. Your nervous system is possibly holding you back, and your soul is shrunk down to such a low level that it is not powering you forward to the positive. Unfortunately, that protective nervous system has gone amok and it is running your life. Let's get you out of that trap and into an empowered state. We'll talk to you for about an hour. We'll listen. We'll ask powerful questions. It might be the most powerful and impactful conversation you may have ever had at mofall.com/live clarity. And you will know for sure what's going on as we help diagnose that and help understand what's really going on. And if you've got ambitions for more and we think we can help you, we will talk about what our 12-week transformational kick-ass workshop is all about and what the next steps are for you. It's so impactful that your family will notice, your partner will say, oh, that's the woman I started out with. It's unbelievable what can happen when your nervous system gets under control and your soul begins to direct your life. All sorts of miracles are ahead for you. And that is the secret of how the nervous system can either help you or hurt you. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. This is Coach Mo, mofall.com and mofall.com/live clarity to book your complimentary clarity call so that we can help you change your life and your career. And absolutely, Carol, you are totally welcome. It has been a long time, and I'm really, really happy to see you here and to appreciate everything. And Julia, thanks so much for joining us. You must listen to your nervous system. I got to come above that comment. When your body in particular, your gut says something's wrong, something is wrong. Absolutely. And Christine, as always, high five and big hugs to you. It's a pleasure seeing some of you lovely clients. And if you're not a client, what's holding you back? mofall.com/live clarity. We'll see you next time. Coach Mo Live, mofall.com/live clarity. We'll see you next time. Mwah.